Hey y'all, Alicia the High Priestess. You can press like, subscribe, notification bell. With the notification bell, you can get my lives. If not, you have to wait 12 hours. This will not resonate with everyone, and I like it like that because then I get a unique story. Sometimes it will come out general. All right, look at it as a story. If you like a good story on the one you want to watch. Also, this scene for pussies. This is for rock hard. Anyways, the rock. The ROC. Rockin' hard to rock and roll. You can find me at High Priestess 86 on IG. You can find me on Lisi the High Priestess on TikTok for my readings, Lisi's World for my other talents. And if you can find me another ask, blessings to you. I'm being lazy, but I don't want to like out Cancer out on their season. So I'm doing Aquarius and Cancer for any of these placements on whatever charts you got or whatnot. All right. Someone could be wrapping things up. Also, wrap it up. Also, wrapping as in art. You could have Cancer placements, or you could be dealing with another Cancer. Aquariuses and Cancers. All right. Demon attachments. Be aware. Work on chakra 7. Motel. All right. So places, locations, traveling, work. Let's find something out. I see Sagittarius right there. All right. 2 of coins, 2 places at the same time. Okay. Bipolar 2. Bilateral, bilingual. Okay. 2 places at the same time. 2 people here on each other's mind, but in different locations. One's traveling, one is working, one also Aquarius and Cancer working together at a motel right here. And they're working on chakra 7. All right, the 4 of Knives. I see them laying down, or they're resting and they're speaking on something. The Ace of Coins, about money. All right, and John Horse. These people, there's a transaction going on at a motel right here. The 3 of Baskets. There's a conversation. Someone's listening in. Someone's listening in into a conversation from a motel room right here. All right. Also, you could be at a motel room with some eye, like, or not eye, but also the eye sees and the ears hear. Okay, but what the eye sees can be very different than what the ears can hear. All right, Aquarius and Cancer. Also, one needs to be the eyes and the other one needs to be the ears. Okay. If you're working together, you have to learn how to work together. I am your eyes and you are my ears. All right. That's what I hear. That's what I heard. That's what I see. That's what I saw, but this is what I heard. Exchange of information. Also, the 9 of Wands, the 2 of Swords, and the 7 of Cups. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot of information coming in. The Full card. And then I get the 7 of Swords reversed, the Knight of Pentacles reversed, and the Strength card reversed. Death card. Okay, so someone's replaying a conversation that was being had before something happened here. Someone could have possibly robbed somebody right here. I feel like there's a call being placed on 911 about an assault is what I hear that happened at a motel room, or someone got robbed at a motel room. Also, I hear that someone's not telling the motel room anything because there was a robbery that went down, but this robbery isn't like they robbed, like this is some citizens, you know, they robbed them for like drug money or for like laundry money, like something crooked. They're not calling the cops Because I still don't see the Masons here. It looks like a drug deal gone bad, is what I hear. So I see the Masons right there. They're looking through the rooms and the motels and the conversations that went in and out this room or whatnot. And they're playing back the scenarios, when they speak to each other, two people. It could have been this, and then this went right there. They're looking at all the evidence they have and how they're placed, like how you find the body or whatnot. You know, this is real jobs for people, okay? And it may seem very like I pray for people's family, but okay, let's assume I was a Mason, right? This is their job every single day, especially if you're in the city. In the city of Chicago, let me tell you something I dreamt about last night. I dreamt about the city of Chicago. And I don't know, this is going to be general. This is where I tap into the general side where I feel like I'm tapping into this. Okay, this prediction right here is not a good one, but I dreamt it last night and I feel like I'm called maybe for Aquarius and Cancer for me to tell you this. I dreamt in the city of Chicago during Halloween night, Halloween season, which will be fall, that there was a lot of gang fights, turf fights, and that they had it was like a lot of riots, and there was a serious war going on in the Chicago streets. Now, I'm going to correlate this to the cancer reading that I have been doing the last few days. On the cancer reading, I had one of two women fighting over territory, over killing a very important person to a certain drug, a kingpin female, a female kingpin, queen pin, excuse me. And then the next one, I don't know, but yesterday is pretty intense. Someone's calling war on someone. All right. It's almost like a continuous part from that. And now here I am with Cancer and Aquarius. And I'm speaking about the Chicago streets now. Okay. The Chicago streets. I dreamt that there was turf wars. Someone that I knew was living in Chicago. And in Chicago, there was and these there were so many blacks that had so much money. I mean, they were Royces and they were at Louis Vuitton, like it was gold, but in different turfs with different gangs, and people couldn't get out of the city. It almost felt like a purge, but it was gang wars. You couldn't go in certain streets and everything was shut down. It was almost like martial law on Chicago because there has been war. War was called between two queens. Someone went and murdered someone's right hand man, and they want justice first. So they shut down the streets of Chicago, and these gangs were given certain amount, like they placed a certain amount on somebody's head. So they're not letting anybody from the city go. Now, if you watched Raising Cannon, which by the way is based on 50 Cent's life, and I want to just say allegedly, but it's based on his life and how he grew up in the city of New York. But it felt a lot like that. But in this situation, it was, and what I dreamt was the streets of Chicago. And these gang members in these different parts of town were rich. I'm talking about El Chapo rich. And if I'm not mistaken, this is not science, this is true. I will tell you a great person, a great people to look at to get this information. I'll Profit on YouTube. You can get great information of the underworld. and then JC Ron Too Strong on YouTube, and his life story in the streets of Chicago. This is not just that, this is also National Geographic. They've had a lot of stories about the cartels and the routes that go into the Chicago streets. It's one of the most lucrative places in the world to make money off of drugs. Now, it ain't my business, but I'm just speaking on world underworld politics. But what I dreamt was they were filthy rich. I'm talking about there was pimps, there was hustlers, there was drug dealers and everything in all streets of Chicago. But the streets of Chicago was shut down by these gangs, and they weren't letting anybody leave the streets of Chicago because there was a there's a war going on between the queens behind a death of a very important person, and they called war, and they're looking for the person that murdered the right hand man. I don't know rights to this music, but this is Meek Mill. Friends when nobody else can tell us what to be. Friends when the TV ain't controlling what we see. Told my niggas I need you. Through all the fame, you know I stay true. Pray my niggas stay free. Made a few mistakes, but this ain't where I wanna be. Before I'm judged by 12, put a 12 on my feet. Told my niggas I need you. Stay up, I know they. Well, I dreamt that I was trying to get somebody out of the streets of Chicago. I couldn't find where the car was at because I was too busy trying to find somebody because I was trying to get them out. It felt like the purge. Now, like I constantly say, somebody could be actually watching a movie. And honestly, I don't even know how I see certain things and why I see them. They say, like, logically, you need to write down your what you were thinking right before you fell asleep. You gotta write down what's happening in your life before you go to sleep, because a lot of your dreams correlate with your waking life. Well, what does Chicago got to do with me? You know what I mean? The streets of Shot Town too. Like Chicago is going to be on the news here soon. For some reason, I feel like I can see death from far away. Like when it happens on a massive scale, I can see it sometimes, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Let's assume I have high priestesses and high priests that see me. They see the same thing I do, and if I were to watch them, it will come out on their readings too. And some people don't like that. They want to stay on rosies and posies, and that's why I only watch certain people that can handle that kind of energy, because they're that skilled to be able to master that kind of energy in their field. There's because even in my field, even through my eyes, it's very dark, and not everybody can handle dark energy, because you have to experience certain things in life to be able to surpass and overcome certain things that will make nightmares for many people, because it's a nightmare to wake up one day and find your city under attack by gangs behind a war of two women and the loyalty of the death of one man. The death of one man brought all the wolves on every single corner of the streets. That means the men in blue are on guard. No one is happy when we are at war. So I feel like there's going to be a reunion, or there's going to be talk with the higher ups. They have to come into an agreement on like who they're going to give up, because what I see is they're going to give up that person that did this. And you know what's crazy? It's not just a prediction. or something I dreamt, but like I'm telling you, in that 50 Cent's life story, allegedly, they did the same thing. They shut down the whole city trying to look for one person that did it. And you do know they say history is meant to repeat itself. Did you know? I believe is the Hondurans are trying to follow suit with what's going on with El Salvador. If you haven't kept up with El Salvador, you should take a look at it. Do your own research. It does affect us all. History is meant to repeat itself. Five of Baskets. The despair in the world. When the streets start making their own soldiers and they're no longer in the need of the men in blue. And it always has, I say the toughest men, I would say some of the toughest people come from Chicago streets. Chicago is known for the number one city of that's the murder state. All right. Also, someone is a mason, or I feel like one is a soldier from the street and the other one's a mason hero. To be a hero, you must come from the streets too. Is what I hear. You have to come from the streets to become a hero in your own neighborhood, because you're dealing with big dogs. Also, only one person is allowed to go to different organizations and talk to some peace into them. Okay, there's one person going from organization to organization trying to speak peace onto the streets. Big Mama, the grandchildren, it's the grandkids, the nine of baskets. So it's this other woman, the railroad bill. Also, I feel like this is a congresswoman right here. Also, Congress is about to pass a new bill because of this. The six of coins, the eight of baskets, and the four of sticks. I don't know, like there's a bill that's going to like cause a riot as well, or because of this rioting, a new bill will be passed in the streets of Chicago. That's what I'm getting. Now, I'm not speaking just New York. I'm just saying that this dream that I had was very explicit. There was a lot of prostitutes and strippers, these women teaching these young girls how to become prostitutes at a very young age. So I want to say human trafficking, as far as the sex ring of Chicago is what I hear. And these men that are profiting off of like they were filthy rich, but it was a lot of blacks. So I want to assume that the war is going to be amongst the blacks, because I'm not lying about these turfs that really do exist all over the United States and the world. There's real turfs out here that are marked territory for the underworld. If you want to be naive about it, that's fine. But you be watching movies and you watch all these people put some make-believe shit, and some of that shit is based on true events. Don't tell me I'm dark. The world is. Nine of Swords. Real shit happens every day, G. And these I just feel like something significant is going to happen in the streets of Chicago. And I pray for all the innocent people there, because in my dream I was fighting to get out of that city while it was shut down by these gangs, because a person's right hand man was murdered behind two drug queen pins. And I feel like this is going to make the news, and this is in the near future. It's going to be on the news on the 14th, between now and November. Scorpio season. Also, here's something very significant about the moon. And I don't know if I'm warning people, like this kind of warning. But in my dream, I was trying to help certain people out, and they were everywhere, everywhere, and they were loaded with guns. I mean, I'm just saying, they were ready on site. People, it was war. They were looking for someone, and they didn't want nobody to escape. It was on like a 24-hour lockdown until they found the person that did it. The Chicago streets will be locked. Chicago streets will be on a 24-hour lockdown. And I want to say to be continued because I can't say no more.